Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. My name's Jason, and thanks for watching the channel. Today, I want to review this iMars C20 12-volt compressor fridge. Before we jump into the review though, I want to talk about why you need to buy a 12-volt compressor fridge. Are you sick of having an ice chest with your food getting all soggy, the ice only lasting for a few days, and plus the ice takes off more than half of the space of the cooler anyway? You buy a 40-liter cooler and half of it's filled with ice. Well, 12-volt compressor fridges are pretty awesome. They run off 12 volts or 24 volts DC, so you can power them with your car, you can power them off a portable battery. I've had a lot of experience with 12-volt compressor fridges, and ever since I found them, I have absolutely loved them. But they're pretty expensive to get into the hobby. But there are a few entry-level fridges that might be worth just buying to see if you like the hobby or if it's worth your time. And that's why I purchased this fridge. This is a cheap budget fridge. It comes in at 150 bucks. The price does fluctuate a little bit, but around $150. So are you willing to spend 150 bucks to jump into the hobby and see if it's something you like? Well, with a fridge like this, let's go ahead and find out. I'll go ahead and tell you everything about this fridge, all the specs, the power usage, and at the end, I'm gonna line up all the pros and cons to see if it's something you wanna buy and if it's worth your money. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look at this iMars C20 12-volt compressor fridge. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the specs of the iMars C20 12-volt compressor fridge. The capacity totals are 20 liters or 21 quarts. It weighs 8.6 kilograms or 19 pounds. The compressor inside is the popular Huajun ZH25G compressor. At idle, without the compressor running at all, it pulls 1.5 watts. Eco mode pulls an average of 33 watts, and max mode pulls an average of 49 watts. The fridge is 12.5 inches tall. With the handles, it's 23 inches wide, 12.5 inches deep. Okay guys, this is what comes inside the box. You get a detailed operating manual that goes over the fridge and the Bluetooth app. You get a 12-volt power cable that plugs into a 12-volt system, cigarette lighter, and you get the AC to DC adapter. It's pretty cool that this fridge comes with an AC to DC adapter because most fridges at this price point don't. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fridge control panel. In order to turn the fridge display on, you just push the power button. Once the display turns on, you can see it displays the internal temperature of the fridge, and it has a voltmeter which is showing the voltage coming in from your power source. You can see it's set to eco mode and it's set to medium battery protection settings. Let's go ahead and change eco to max mode. You push the settings button once, and then you can tap it again to go right into max mode. If you want to change the battery protection settings, you just press the settings button for 3 seconds. And then you tap it to what setting you want, whether it be high, medium, or low. To change the temperature on the fridge, you use these plus and minus buttons. You can just push it down to your desired temperature. Once you have it at the temperature you want, you just let it sit and it'll save. You can see on the bottom here, there's a built-in USB port. You just pull this back and you can see the USB port to use it. You can plug in your phone and charge it or any other USB device while the fridge is running. The last thing I want to talk about is the Bluetooth connectivity. You can see there's a Bluetooth icon up in the top left. You can use an iPhone or Android app to connect to this fridge remotely. While using the apps, you can see the actual temperature inside the fridge and adjust the settings as needed. I love how simple this control panel is to use. Looking at the front of the fridge, you can see that you have this air vent on the side here. The compressor and the controller are all on this side of the fridge, so make sure you don't block this because the air is pushed out on this side of the fridge. You can see that we have the extended lid. They have 2 different models. There's a smaller model that has a lid that's flush with the top, and then they have this one. This lid is insulated and it adds extra storage inside, so I'd recommend spending a few extra dollars and buying the larger fridge, which is this one, instead of the one that just has the flush lid. Looking at this side of the fridge, you can see a continuation of that venting. The compressor is sitting right here and the fan is over here. If you look at the bottom, this is where you power the fridge. You have DC 12 to 24 volts that this fridge accepts, and you just plug in the stock cable or the power adapter that came with the fridge to power it. Very simple design. I like the handles, and there's no issues that I see with this fridge so far. Looking at the other side of the fridge, you just have the simple handle, and that's basically it. My first complaint of the unit is the lid. It doesn't have a very good latching system. So how you open is you kind of really have to pry up underneath, and it's just not a very good place to grab onto. In fact, the fridge is light enough that sometimes this will lift up the whole entire fridge before it opens. So let me show you what I did to fix it to make it a little bit better. Okay, so I zoomed in here on the inside of the lid, and this is where it comes in and snaps in right here. So let me show you on the fridge what I did on the actual lid to make it easier to open and close. Okay, so this right here is the little piece that hooks into that lower part. And so what I did is I just took a razor and I kind of shaved it off until it was easier to open up. I think I can still take off a little bit more and it'd be fine. And this thing is on both sides of the lid. So just take some off until you feel it's easier to open up. Okay, here's the inside of the fridge. Let's go ahead and give you some quick dimensions. Width of the fridge is 13 3/4 inches. Depth of the fridge is a little under 9 3/4 inches. And the height of the fridge, including the expanded top, is a little higher than 10 inches. Let's go ahead and see if the lid will close with a milk jug in here. Yes, it does pass the milk jug test. It will fit 2 milk jugs next to each other, which is great in my opinion. Let's go ahead and see what else fits. So it easily fits 2 2-liters laying on their side. You could probably fit another 2 right on top of that and it would be fine. So looking at the design of the inside, you can see it's all one plastic tub. There's no seams where you have to worry about water or any fluids leaking and hurting electronics, and it's easy to wipe up. It's a great, simple design. Looking inside, you might ask what this is. This is called a fridge thermometer. You put one of these in the fridge so you know that your food is at a safe level all the time. Now the fridge has been turned off, and that's why you can see it's here in the warm value. You want your fridge temperature to be around 32 to 40 degrees on this thermometer here. I'll include a link in the description below for one of these. These are very cheap, and I definitely think it's worth having one of these inside your fridge so you know the temperature of your food at all times. Looking at the lid, you can see the expanded area. This is 2.5 inches deep, so you get that much more storage space over the smaller lid. There's a really nice foam seal that goes around the outside, and this seal matches up with a ridge here on the edge, and it gives you a good tight seal so the air cannot get in or out. You can see at the top there's a lot of thickness in these walls, which is filled with insulation, so it gives a really good insulation value on this fridge. Okay guys, let's go ahead and talk about the average power consumption for the iMars C20 fridge. I like to test the fridge at 2 different temperature levels, and we'll start with the 70-degree ambient test. I ran the C20 for 37 hours, and the fridge pulled 371 watt hours. If we divide that over the duration of the test, which was 37 hours, we get an average of 10 watts power draw. That also translates over to 0.8 amps average power draw at 12.5 volts. At the 85-degree ambient test, I ran the fridge for 26 hours, which pulled about 494 watt hours. Dividing that over the duration of the test, which was 26 hours, we get an average of 19 watts power draw, or 1.52 amps power draw at 12.5 volts. So you can see around 70 degrees, it pulls 10 watts average, and at 85 degrees, it pulls 19 watts average. I like to lay out these numbers so that people know how efficient the fridge is and also how much they need to plan for battery storage if they're going to plan to take this on a camping trip where they don't have power available. I wanted to show you how this fridge sounded when the compressor is running. Let me go ahead and move the microphone right up next to where the compressor is. Now I'll move the microphone about 3 feet away so you can hear how quiet it is about 3 feet away. Overall, the compressor and the fan are both very quiet on this fridge. You could easily sleep next to this fridge and not be woken up when it cycles through. Okay, so I thought it'd be useful to show you how you can run one of these fridges off of a 12-volt source, whether it be in your car or off one of these solar generators or a DIY battery box. So this is a all-powers 372 watt-hour solar generator. It has an MPPT charger and a pure sine wave inverter built in. It's a great unit for the price, and I've used it a lot. The other option is to go with a battery box. This is my lithium iron phosphate 80 amp hour battery. I have videos on both of these products if you have any interest in that, but this just gives you a way to run the fridge without having to plug it into the wall. So if you're in an emergency with a power outage, you can use it, or if you're camping, you can also run the fridge there. I actually tested this fridge and I ran it for 72 hours without even having to charge the battery. So you can get quite a long runtime on a large lithium iron phosphate battery like this, and you can get pretty good runtime on something like this as well. Okay, so coming to the end of the video, and I just wanted to talk about some of the pros and cons about the iMars C20 so you can make a decision if this fridge is right for you or if you want to pass and buy something else. I like to start with the negative stuff first, so let's go ahead and talk about the cons. The first con I want to talk about is the off-brand compressor. It has the Wajun ZH25G compressor. Yes, the compressor is efficient, it's quiet, and it seems to work really well. I just don't know about the long-term reliability. Is it going to last 5 years or is it last 2 years? That's definitely a con in my book. I don't know about the reliability and I'm going to have to test it to see how long it's going to last. A C-Cop compressor has a 5-year warranty, so it's a lot to compete against there. The next con on my list is about the lid latching. It was extremely hard to open up the lid. Like I said earlier in the review, I had to modify it. I just don't feel like you should have to modify something like that from the factory. Yes, it was easily fixable and it's much easier to open now, but you know, that's just kind of annoying. And I guess, yes, for the price, you're gonna get some of these things, but you know what? They should just redesign it, make the lid latching system better, and it wouldn't even be a con, but that's what we're stuck out with right now. Let's go ahead and talk about the pros of the fridge. The first pro that comes to mind is definitely the cost. This is extremely cheap. It's around $150 average, less or more. It kind of fluctuates with cost. You know what? That's a really good value for somebody that wants to just jump into the hobby, spend a little bit of money, and see if a fridge is right for them. The next thing I love is the simple control panel. You can change the temperature easily, turn it on easily. It has the USB port for charging your phone or any other USB device, and it has Bluetooth connectivity. You know, that's pretty awesome for a fridge this cheap. The next pro on my list is about power efficiency and what comes in the box. It's super power efficient. It's an efficient fridge. It performs just like any other fridge that I've seen on the market, so I've been pretty happy with that. It also comes with everything in the box you need to run it off of both your wall or off a battery. You know, the AC to DC adapter sometimes isn't included on these budget fridges, so that's a plus in my book. The last thing that I think is a pro is that it's small and portable. One person can easily carry this around and they're not going to run into issues about breaking their back trying to, get their food from their car or back to the campsite. The other thing is that it's so small that it fits in any car. This will fit in the back seat of any car. It will even fit in the passenger seat of a 2-seat car. It'll fit in your trunk. It's just going to fit everywhere. I love how small and portable this fridge is. So overall, hopefully you guys can juggle these pros and cons and make a decision for yourself. I went out and purchased this, I risked my own money, and you know what, I'm pretty happy. Yes, I do have to worry about the long-term reliability, but at least I'm not out that much money. And for what the testing that I've done, it's really worked well for me. It's been efficient, and I like the fridge. Hopefully you guys found this review helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content and you want to see other things like this in the future. Let me know if you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about in future videos. I'd love to hear from you guys and what you guys want to see. Thanks for watching, guys, and you have a great day.